So McCarthy is fighting to get the nomination for Speaker of the House, but Marjorie Taylor Greene she's in the minority. So there's like five people that are hardcore Trump supporters, uh, and there's 19 people that are supporting going against McCarthy. But Marjorie wants to get a committee chair positioning to give clemency and to adore the Trump political prisoners, that they should all get pardoned. And this is the same prisoners that were about to hang Mike Pence, the same supporters of Trump that was about to hang Mike Pence, that wanted to blow up Kamala Harris when she visited the DNC. And that particular day, they put two pipe bombs to blow up Kamala Harris, the Vice President of the United States. They were trying to kill Nancy Pelosi. Even Trump said after the fact, he said, I can see why they wanted to hang Mike Pence, because he was weak. He didn't take our government back. Insinuating that he was weak. That's why his supporters wanted to hang him. That he can see why they wanted to hang him. So McCarthy is going against these minorities, extreme minority Trump mega supporters, the alt-rights. Uh, so the movement behind denying McCarthy the leadership is basically Marjorie Taylor Greene. Matt Gaetz, Jim Jordan, uh, Congresswoman Gomer, these extreme minority mega Trump sycophants, if you will, as politicians, they're trying to turn this nation into a fascist Trump totalitarian republic. That, like Marjorie Taylor Greene was at a speaking event. She said that if her and Steve Bannon would have planned January 6th, they would have won and they would have been armed, insinuating that if her and Steve Bannon would have raided the Capitol with assault weapons, they would have appointed the Trump delegates. That's basically what she was insinuating when she said, if me and Steve Bannon would have planned January 6th, we would have won and we would have been armed. And so she wants a committee, she wants McCarthy to give her a committee in charge of investigating the unfair treatment of political prisoners. These are the same people that Trump wants to cancel the Constitution for and give them clemency and adore them like they're some type of martyrs for a revolutionary January 6th Trumpian day. That they want to cancel the Constitution and make it in the likeness, the fascism likeness of Trumpisms, in his likeness of his totalitarian fascism, of his mega movement. And so Marjorie Taylor Greene is the thorn in the ass of McCarthy when it comes for him getting the nomination. Because they're so minority, the hardcore diehards are like five Republican representatives. There's like 19 votes that are against McCarthy, but the real ringleaders is much smaller than 19. The number is much smaller. It's like five little diehard mega sycophants of fascism, uh, Trump supporters as representatives in the Republican Party. And they're trying to destroy this country from the inside out. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene, the same woman that believed that a plane never flew into the Pentagon. that was planned by inside jobs, that 9/11 never happened, that it was Bush that faked it all and brought down the towers, and that a plane never flew into the Pentagon, that Bush used the CIA to implant plastic explosives to bring down the tower with demolition explosives. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene we're talking about here, that believes that type of conspiracy. She's the same woman that believes that January 6th was an inside job, that the FBI was the ones that stroked the insurrection with Antifas, that they were pretending to be Trump supporters. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene. This is how she thinks. And she thinks that she's the leader. She thinks that she's going to be the next Speaker of the House on behalf of the Trumpocrats. That's what Marjorie Taylor Greene thinks. With Matt Gaetz and Jim Jordan, that somehow they're going to be leaders of the Republican Party. And so Marjorie Taylor Greene believes that, she said, if me and Steve Bannon would have planned January 6th, we would have won, and we would have been armed, insinuating that they would have raided the Capitol with assault weapons and appointed by the barrel of the gun, by the pointy barrel pointed of assault weapons. They would have extorted the representatives and imposed their Trump delegates, and they would have canceled the Constitution. If this is not an extreme alt-right fascism uh, of certain perverted Republican extreme sycophants of Trump, like Marjorie Taylor Greene is, this is a thorn in the ass of the Republican Party. This small, minute, extreme, you can count them in one hand, these delegates. Matt Gaetz, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Congresswoman Gohmert, Jim Jordan, and Congressman Gohmert. Like these, it's becoming like a circus act of trumpery representatives, full of trumpery. So the Trump is already insinuating that these prisoners that raided the Capitol building, that they are revolutionists on behalf of his movement, and that somehow they should be given, they should be freed. In other words, like he wants to pin the Presidential Medal of Honor on them if he was to win a second term. He wants to. He wants to. He looks at January 6th. Trump said about January 6th and the ellipse that he said that he spoke on his speech on the ellipse of January 6th. After the fact, Trump said he compared that January ellipse speech to 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 insinuate that that speech was better than Martin Luther King "I Had a Dream" speech, and that somehow he had more people there for the January 6th ellipse than Martin Luther King had for the "I Had a Dream" speech. Trump looks at January 6th like it's a revolutionary day, that he's better than Washington, that he's better than Lincoln, and they should cancel the Constitution and swear him in. And these extreme sycophants like Marjorie is the one that's causing the Republicans to look shameless. She has no quorums, no hairs in her tongues to insinuate that if he would have planned January 6th with Steve Bannon, that they would have won and raided the Capitol building with assault weapons. And they did by gunpoint, they would have imposed Trump a self-anointed delegates and cancel the Constitution to phase in a Constitution that Trump will be the sole arbiter of constructing the new Constitution of this land under his fascism, under his totalitarian, autocratic, demagogic likeness of his vanity, of his grandeur, of his movement. And so the Republican parties are beginning to, the majority of the Republican Party are beginning to realize that this Trump movement is not what they want for their party. And you have the small extremists like Marjorie that's making a spectacle out of appointing the Republican Speaker of the House. It's appalling. It's shameless and shameful that she doesn't see what she's doing as a representative, representing her constituency. She's willing to desecrate the whole union because she's infatuated as a conspirator. She's infatuated with this mega movement. But she's not all there in her head. She's not rational. She believes that in conspiracies. She believes that there was Jewish satellites, Italian satellites, that there was fake ballots, there were bamboo papers. She believes probably that January 6th was an inside job by the FBI. She believes in conspiracies. She's an extremist. In the history of the Congress, she has to rank up there as the most extreme representative and deranged at the same time. To insinuate with Steve Bannon that somehow, and Steve Bannon was caught on tape saying, Donald Trump is going to lose the election, but that's not going to stop him from claiming that he won, and then we will crown him King of the Republic. And this is who Marjorie Taylor Greene says that if her and Steve Bannon would have planned January 6th, they would have won, and they would have been armed. It's really appalling to see the Republicans degenerate themselves in this extreme fascist likeness of Trump. And so the majority of the Republicans are trying to steer their party away from Trump. They realize Trump is a ticking time bomb of insanity, of the Führer. Like Hitler used to be furious when he used to have his rallies. Trump is the same fury of fascism when it comes to his brand. Although it might not be based on Nazism, as far as I don't believe Trump is a devout Nazi, but he does like xenophobia against Africans and Latinos and Muslims. So he's a bigot against Latinos and Africans and against the faith of Muslims. He might not be a Nazi. I don't believe he's a Nazi against the Jewish people, but as far as the KKK, he might have some sympathy towards their views when it comes to Africans and Latinos. Trump is he's a undeniable xenophobia against African civil rights. And he has extreme xenophobia against African civil rights in this nation. And extreme xenophobia against brown migrants and the Muslim faiths. But so he is in that sense he is racist. He's explanatory, is out there in the open to see his xenophobia. It's like it's undeniable. You cannot mistake his xenophobia. But Marjorie Taylor Greene piling around with Nick Fuentes in America First, calling for America to ban migrations from the rest of the world because she wants to only allow white Europeans to become Americans, to gentrify America to become white majority migrations, to gentrify it into a stronghold of white populations, to re-gentrify by only accepting migrants through Coney Island that happens to be Western Europeans, because she wants the population to stay white. She's the xenophobia towards brown migrants, towards migrants from the third world. She wants to abolish migrations from the Middle East, from Asia, from Africa, from Latin America. She wants she wanted to pass a bill to just allow migrations to come from Western Europe and to allow to regentrify the population in a white majority rule as far as ethnic population is considered in this country when it comes to migrations. Anyway, this lady, deranged as she is, believes that January 6th is like a revolutionary holiday. The same Trump thinks that January 6th is a revolutionary holiday. They want to displace 7 million minorities that voted for Biden. They displaced 3 million, the college electorate system. They displaced 3 million votes that Hillary Clinton had over Trump. She had 3 million more votes than Trump. And the college electorate system, the xenophobia, denied her, Hillary Clinton, her victory because they were caught up in Trump's xenophobia. They wanted Trump in office. So they ignored 3 million votes from Hillary Clinton, that she had 3 million more than Trump. She should have been declared the victor in that 2016 presidential runoff. She should have been declared the winner. But they denied her 3 million more votes than she had, than Trump had. And they were trying to deny Biden 7 million more votes. And this Marjorie Taylor Greene wants to dominate and be the next speaker on behalf of Trump and impose Trump revolution, constitutional fascism. And there's something wrong with this in this country. When the Republicans doesn't even, they should expel her from ever being a congresswoman. They should get rid of her. They should expel her, impeach her, remove her, and strip her of her representation in Congress, to insinuate that they would have took this government over by force. And in the same day, they wanted to blow up Kamala Harris when she visited the DNC headquarters. They put 2 pipe bombs. Trump supporters did. They haven't found out who did it yet. The FBI hasn't found out who did it yet. But some deranged Trump supporter put 2 dirty pipe bombs to blow up Kamala Harris when she visited the DNC on January 6th. They were trying to hang Mike Pence. They killed 3 I believe it was 3 or 4 Capitol Police officers. And this is the day that Trump celebrates his revolution. January 6th is a day that he thinks is better than Washington, better than Lincoln, better than Martin Luther King. This is the day that Marjorie Taylor Greene fantasizes about if she would have done it her way with Steve Bannon. They would have raided with assault weapons and appointed by gunpoint self-appointed Trump delegates that are chosen, handpicked by Trump. This movement of Trump is boiling down to become a terrorist movement in this nation. A minute alt-right extreme wing of the Republican Party that's led by only a few corrupt officials. extreme corrupt officials. And Marjorie Taylor Greene is the ringleader of that movement within the Congress. And this is a derangement, to tell you the truth. It's more deranged than watching, uh, no, it's actually equally as deranged as watching Kanye West and Alex Jones when Kanye West has a net and a bottle of Yoo-hoo talking about Netanyahu and his obsession with the war against the Jewish faith, that he's willing to consider joining the Nazi party over it. This is a organization, America First. That's the chair, uh, founder of that movement is Nick Fuentes. This is the same one where Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene goes to speak at his event, and Marjorie Taylor Greene does a lot of research on America First. Nick Fuentes, she admires that movement. So at the end of the day, her policies on migrations were based on white supremacy. She wanted to gentrify. Only whites are allowed in America when it comes to migrants. Only whites from Western Europe are allowed to become Americans. If she had her chance to pass her bill, that means if you were from the Middle East, if you was from Asia, if you was from Africa, if you was from Latin America, you were not allowed to migrate to America. That the doors are shut. That the only people that are allowed are migrants that happen to be from Western Europe. In order to for they can crank up their numbers as population growth of migrants that become citizens of America, to ensure that America First is white. That's the bill that Marjorie Taylor Greene wanted to do when it came to migrations, and insinuating that she would have raided the Capitol with assault weapons. The same January 6th that she defends the political prisoners that killed Capitol police officers that wanted to hang Mike Pence. And I hope they catch the guy that tried to blow up Kamala Harris with 2 pipe bombs on, on the same day of January 6th when she was going to the DNC. This is the day that Trump thinks is better than Martin Luther King I Had a Dream speech. This is the day that January 6th that he thinks he had a bigger crowd size than Martin Luther King. It's pure denigration of the most sickest Trumpery, shameless fascism that only Trump can muster to 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 impose on this republic. When he insinuates to cancel the Constitution and to phase in his revolution. He has nothing good to offer this country, let alone the Republican Party. And so they're trying to, the majority of the Republican Party are trying to walk away from Trump. And the only one that is holding them back is Marjorie Taylor Greene, Matt Gaetz, Jim Jordan, a few extreme Trump sycophant Trumpocrats. It's crazy.